The redevelopment of Tygerberg Hospital has long been envisaged to improve infrastructure for the people of the Western Cape. Presented in collaboration with the Greater Tygerberg Partnership, this Future Cities Africa episode is with Thorpe Koorts, Acting Project Officer for the Tygerberg Central Hospital PPP in the Department of Health and Wellness at the Western Cape Government. We explore maximising public-private partnerships to rebuild health infrastructure, the importance of collaboration between stakeholders, future socio-economic benefits for the broader community, and much more. Thorpe, welcome. It's great to have you on the show. Please provide an overview of the Tygerberg Hospital renovation project.
So it's not a renovation project. It is actually the construction of a brand new central hospital. So renovations are what we basically have been doing at Tygerberg over the last 40 to 50 years. And Tygerberg has been declared beyond its life expectancy. And we are desperately needing a new central hospital. So the scope of the project is the actual construction of a new central hospital on the same campus and precinct as the existing hospital. We've got a plan to construct the new central hospital on the western side. We're clearing out and enabling a corridor on the western side for that purpose. And I think if I have to describe the project, I first have to delve a bit into the service design that we are envisaging and how we are planning to structure our healthcare service in the province going forward. So I'll take it a step back. We are planning to construct 3 very big hospitals in the near future. One in Klipfontein, close to where the old GF Hospital used to be. One in Belhar, which is just opposite the UWC campus, and also the new central hospital on the Tygerberg campus. And the reason we're redesigning the service like that is from my opinion around it is that we have, over the last 3 decades at least, focused very much on primary healthcare. We have become absolute experts on building clinics and doing community-based and home-based care, bringing healthcare services to the people of the province. So yeah, you can just have a look at all the incredible clinics that we've built recently, both in the metro and on the and rural. And we do see there's a shift now in the healthcare burden of disease, whereas we're seeing the emergence of diseases of lifestyle and diseases of age. I'm talking about things like the need for oncology, cardio, diabetics and those things, which are more of your tertiary services requirement and more of your specialist services. And we find ourselves in the province that our tertiary institutions and hospitals has been built in the 60s and 70s. I'm talking about Groote and Red Cross and Tygerberg. So there is a desperate need for us to enhance on that and bring those kind of services back into the province. And therefore, we're restructuring with these mega projects. We've coined the phrase. We call them mega projects, these 3 hospitals. The other 2, the Klipfontein one and Belhar hospitals that we are going to construct, will be built in our conventional way, whereas we use our enabling sister departments to construct those hospitals. But in terms of funding requirements and so forth, we have done an extensive case study to determine that Tygerberg we can do as a PPP. I'll get back to the PPP in a minute. So the project will be for the construction of a new Tygerberg hospital on the western side of the campus. And then we will decant the old hospital out of the existing facility and into the new facility. And we are going to divert the services in terms of secondary and tertiary services. So your primary and secondary services will go to Belhar, the ones that's existing at Tygerberg, whereas your more academic and tertiary services will go to the new central hospital. And our aim is, of course, to complete those 2 particular hospitals very close to each other so that it can streamline the decanting process and the commissioning process on the other 2 facilities. There's, of course, the reason for stripping out some of the services is because we want to focus on pure academic services. because, as you know, Tygerberg is a learning platform. We've got 3 higher learning institutions on site, which is Stellenbosch University Medical School, UWC, and CPUT. And we are engaging with them as well to shape a higher learning education, which will be a national asset and not just a provincial asset. And we see ourselves constructing the future of education.
Thank you. The project has been devised as a PPP, or a public-private partnership. Can you elaborate on the thinking around this and how PPPs of this nature benefits major projects?
So a PPP is not necessarily conducive for big projects or not. We've got a PPP. We had a PPP at Lentegeer. The Western Cape Rehab Centre was a PPP. I mean, there's quite a few other PPPs across the country. They get done for various sorts of reasons as PPPs and not necessarily because of size. The Tygerberg will be, of course, the biggest PPP that I think, well, that we have ever done, or I think maybe the Gauteng, it might be the biggest one in the country. It is going to be a massive project. Just to give you an indication, our estimate of the construction is upwards from 5 billion. Provincial Treasury has ring-fenced already close to 1 billion for us, which will mature in 2030. So that would give you an indication of the scale of the project. And the reason we're doing it as a PPP is because of 2 things: value for money and affordability. So, as I said, we're planning on doing 3 mega projects very close to each other. And as you can imagine, they are quite expensive. So it's difficult to get them to fit onto any national treasury budget. So we went through a feasibility study to see what would be the best way of doing it. And we followed the National Treasury guidelines in terms of PPP Regulation 16. And our feasibility study has indicated that there is value for money and affordability to be had to do this particular project as a PPP. So the way we envisaging to structure it is to procure a private party. The private party will design, construct, finance, and then soft services maintain the building for us over a period of we envisaging 20 years. So we're planning for that construction to start in 2026, to be completed by 2030, and then to have the private party continue with soft services management of that facility for a period of another 20 years. So that is the high level structure of the PPP. So what that means is that the private party will get their own finance to construct the facility at the cost that I was saying. We foresee that they would finance the project. There would be a capital contribution in terms of the one I mentioned from Provincial Treasury, and then they will recoup their investment over the 20 years through a unitary payment. So the unitary payment will be made available from our operational budget. We've gone through an extensive financial investigation to see how possible that is. And the fact of the matter is that the old Tygerberg Hospital, as great as the building was when it was constructed, and I have to say, I think that it astounds me sometimes, the forward thinking that I noticed in this design when I walk in those underground tunnels at Tygerberg. But that hospital has become very expensive to maintain. And there was a CSRI study done back in early 2000s already saying that the hospital is beyond its life expectancy. And we've been keeping it up and running through a huge maintenance budget. And we have come to the realization that utilizing that maintenance budget, we could rather get a private party to fund and construct a new hospital for us, and then use the money that we would have used for those kind of things to fill up a unitary payment. So there's a feasible financial model that we're looking at. In terms of the progress at the moment, so we have recently achieved A1 approval from National Treasury. That has happened in November of 2020, just end of last year. And we are now in the process of preparing output specifications. So output specifications is a description of what we want the hospital to function like. So this is technical and clinical descriptions of how we want that hospital to function. We are preparing those specifications so that we can go out to market, so that private parties can price it, and then they would create the SPV, and that SPV would be the vehicle that would manage the project and also run the soft services over the period of 20 years. So we have also recently done some market sounding with financial institutions to see what the scope and availability is out there for funds, and it seems very positive. So we are well underway, and we are quite positive about this project.
The project has been in planning for a very long time. What are the challenges around progress in a project of this scale, despite the clear urgency from a healthcare perspective?
I agree that the project has been planned for a long time, and there is certainly a urgency for the healthcare service. Just to go back, the project was the cabinet approved the project as a PPP in the late 2000s, after which there was a project office established within the Department of Health infrastructure, and a project officer was appointed. So then the project was pursued as a PPP, and it was taken through the National Treasury's PMFA Regulation 16, which does take time. So there's a feasibility stage, which is the first stage that needs to be completed. And we did a thorough feasibility investigation through along with our transaction advisor, which took a long time. And to be honest, we were ready to go back to Treasury for approval of the feasibility study to move to the next stage by 2019. But then, of course, COVID hit. And I think that the Department of Health then went into COVID mode, and we did a lot of preparations. So a lot of things went onto the back burner. And the Department of Health in the Western Cape did an excellent job to weather the storm of COVID. I recall that we rolled out so many vaccination stations and virus testing units at all our facilities and field hospitals to deal with COVID, that we never even utilized everything that we rolled out. And that's how incredibly successful we were during COVID. But that meant that some of our other projects went on pause, which included the PPP, of course. And then by the time we got back to start working on the PPP, we had to revise our feasibility study because some things have changed. And then we submitted the revised feasibility study to National Treasury, and this was approved in November of 2022 last year. And subsequent to that, Provincial Treasury ring-fenced the funds for us, which we will be using towards the capital contribution of the PPP. And we have now gained a lot of traction. So the project is now full steam ahead. We are building capacity on our project office, and we are engaging with a lot of stakeholders across the province to move this project forward. We are also fairly new to PPPs. We've done the PPP at Lente here, but it's not nearly of the same scale. So we had to build some capacity on how PPPs work and to understand what the challenges are with PPPs. So I think that has also taken some time. But apart from that, we are currently full steam ahead. So I think the only challenges that we're experiencing is, of course, red tape. So we are doing thorough investigations, and we're dealing with a lot of proper feasibility studies and investigations.
What is the importance of collaboration between stakeholders, including the three spheres of government, private sector, and then civil society organizations like the Greater Tygerberg Partnership?
Stakeholders is very important for us, and reaching out and engaging with stakeholders. So we have divided our stakeholder engagements into 4 spheres. The first is our corporate governance and our staff and our HR components of everybody working in and around the facility. Our second one is with the higher learning institutions, which is the 3 academic institutions on site, Stellenbosch, CPUT, and UWC. Our other sphere of stakeholder engagements is with the local community and reaching out. Although I must say we see our community not just as local, because as I said, Tygerberg is definitely a national asset. It's a tertiary institution with even level 4 services that we are offering nationally. So we do see the community as the entire country, as a matter of fact. And then our 4th sphere of stakeholder engagements is with our local government. So organizations like GTP, we've reached out with and have spoken to Warren. What a great guy, pulling people together. And he's assisting us great in reaching out and getting word out and talking to people. Organizations like that we see as very valuable in bringing us closer to, I think in the case of GTP, 3 of those stakeholder engagements. So it's both our local authorities, our higher learning institutions, and our community. GTP has got valuable connections to business in the community, and they introduce us and they talk to us, and so we welcome that, and we definitely reach out to organizations like that to walk this path with us. I think we all have a vision of creating a greater. I know they call it Tygerberg, but it's Belleville, it's Sparrow, and it's the Greater Western Cape, to be honest.
The long-term health benefits of the project are clear. Can you expand on the future socio-economic benefits for the broader community around the hospital?
The benefits for the local community is going to be clear. I'll get into that in a bit, but we see benefits for the entire province and even national benefits. Remember, Tygerberg is the 2nd biggest hospital in the country, and it does provide a lot of level 4 services, higher education and tertiary services. So the scale of the investment that will be injected into the Western Cape is going to be massive. I mean, those 3 mega projects that we are planning to do at very similar times is going to require a lot of construction, a lot of trades, a lot of business to work together. And as I said, we have engaged with international financiers to see what the appetite and the availability of funds is from locally and all around the world into a project like this. And it seems to be extremely good. There are investors that's eager to invest in this. So it's going to be a cash injection and an investment injection into the Western Cape, which is incredible. I mean, we as I said, our estimates of just construction cost is upwards from 5 billion. And that is not even counting the equipment. The equipment will be doing separate on this project, and that will be an additional massive amount of money that will be coming into the Western Cape. So the benefits for the province and for local communities is definitely evident. In fact, I have to say I'm concerned whether we're going to be finding enough trades and business to help us to walk the path and to go through the construction and so forth. So my message to the local communities would be to gear up and prepare, because there's 3 massive projects that's coming, and that is in addition to all the other construction and things that's happening around the Western Cape. So that is clear benefits, and then the longer term benefits also. Once we've upscaled our service, our healthcare service, the private party will come in and they will do some of the soft services for us, and there will be business opportunities around that. And we are very open to establishing Tygerberg, the campus, as a healthcare campus, which caters for associated business, healthcare business as well, and not just for the operation and construction of the hospital. So Operation of the hospital will still lie with the Department of Health. We are the delivery of the healthcare service is our mandate. But other services around it, softer services and facility management services, some of that will be catered by the private parties. So there will be a lot of associated business opportunities emerging from that.
Thorpe, thank you very much. A special thanks to Thorpe Koorts of the Western Cape Government and the Greater Tygerberg Partnership for this insightful conversation on Future Cities Africa.